I've seen some quotes where people say I was controlling and insecure. If I became insecure, it's because I got driven to that point.
He has spent probably decades building up a wall of self-protection in front of himself. Here's one brick. This is confidence. I'm going to say it's confidence. Here's another brick, overeating. But then here's another brick on top of that brick to explain why the overeating is not really a problem. Here's another brick, aloofness, but I'm going to say it's confidence. And it's like he's spent decades building up this massive wall in front of him to not experience whatever kind of pain he did experience that kind of started this whole process. Standing behind this massive wall of bricks that he looks at and says, no one is going to come hurt me unless they try extremely hard because I'm confident. See, look at this wall. I am so confident. That wall is actually a wall of insecurity. So there's a video uploaded of what I believe was Ryan finally speaking on TikTok about his thoughts on the whole Gypsy Rose pregnancy thing. But I listened to this video once a few days ago, whenever it was uploaded, and I wanted to do a reaction again. I had some thoughts on it. If it looks like I was up since 5 in the morning, it's because I was up till since 5 in the morning this morning. I don't know why, but in all the hours I had to lie there and think about nothing, I kind of started formulating like a visual image of where I think Ryan's at in some ways. So I'll get to that. And I kind of feel like it's a cool visual image. So maybe 5 a.m. brilliance is a thing for some people, but maybe not. We'll find out. So yeah, let's just start reacting to what he had to say. Sorry, a bit of an odd start.
It's just not what I want to talk about tonight. I got a lot of things to say about it, but I'm not going to talk about it tonight too much. I did see the video with the heartbeat. Somebody sent me that, and that was cool. That was cool to see. One thing I will say, thank you, Paranoia. Thank you for the gifts, Lori. Thank you. I will say this. I saw a comment where somebody was saying we need to, take her baby away from her. That's not cool. Like, I don't condone that at all. In my opinion, I think Gypsy's going to be a wonderful mother.
So I want to pause it here and just say, sorry, I was very hungry all of a sudden, so I'm just eating another oatmeal. Technically, we don't know Gypsy, and technically, he theoretically knows her well. Now, do I think there's a chance that he doesn't know her nearly as well as he thinks he does? Yes. But he was involved in her life, so I want to leave space for the fact that maybe there really is a version of Gypsy that we just don't understand, and maybe wrapped up in her immaturity and manipulation and arrogance and all of that is actually a really, truly, genuinely wonderful person who just is so new to life. She's just got a lot of learning and maturing to do. Maybe that's the case. I definitely think he seems to see her that way, and I think that's why he really believes that she'd be a good mother. I don't think the vast majority of the internet would think that, but I do want to leave space for the fact that this is the internet. We only see what they allow us to see, good and bad otherwise. So maybe she could be a good mother. But I do generally agree with a lot of people where I think that Ryan sees her through rose-colored glasses. So.
And I don't appreciate anybody trying to say take her kid. Like, I don't appreciate that at all. I will say I married her because I want to have a kid with her. Like, I believe she's going to be a great mother. So when I see comments like that, it really bothers me. So guys, don't do that. Like, don't say stuff like that. You don't judge somebody by their past nonstop. It's just not cool.
And I mean, this is all very new, obviously, still. So he is still experiencing very personal pain. He's obviously not over her yet. And I suppose there could be some pain even if he was technically over her, of hearing people say she's going to be a terrible mother. But I think really this evidence is the fact that he still loves her, which then makes it very painful for him to hear that this person that he loves, a lot of people think she would be a terrible mom. I really hope he is able to get over her truly. Oops.
That about a pregnancy, I have more to say, but I don't really want to talk about it tonight. I do a long distance relationship, guys. I just came from a long distance relationship, really. That was a long distance relationship for a couple of years. So I have done them. I don't really want to do that again. I will say that I don't really want to go through that because I waited forever. People talk about the first night how I was, overly sexual or whatever. I was just excited to touch my wife, like above the wrist,
And that's another interesting thing that I've noticed, and I think we'll see happen in this. There are two sides to every story, and I could understand how maybe he feels ganged up upon by people watching what we have access to. Obviously, we don't have access to the whole story and all of the events that happen, but what we see does seem like he can be very clingy and just come on way too strong. And he just sees it as, I was just excited to actually be physically there with this woman that I have been literally dreaming of being with for years. And I get that, but he doesn't really also leave space for, I mean, at least in this scenario, he doesn't really seem to leave space for the possibility of what if I was too much in that instance. Later on, he kind of takes some accountability, but I do feel like a common trend with him is like, even if he does take accountability, he always has a reason as well, where it's kind of like he tries to lessen the blow of accountability in little ways whenever possible. I feel like there's something else I was going to say, but I forget.
So here's what it is.
Oh, he says that all the time. It is what it is. That's, I don't like that.
Guys, I did see I did see clips from the episode. I noticed I made some mistakes. I'm not perfect, guys. I'm not perfect. It was a learning experience.
I've heard it said that the phrase "I'm not perfect" is going to sound mean, but frankly, it's a stupid thing to say, and it is a stupid thing to say. I'm sorry, that's so blunt, but like, no one's perfect. Everyone knows we're not perfect. And when people say that, it's really kind of meant to shove off some of the discomfort of being in the wrong. It's like, I know I was wrong. I'm not perfect. I'm just human. It's like, that's obvious. We are all humans and none of us is perfect. So there's literally no reason to state something that is true of every single human being that's ever existed. But a lot of people do it just trying to make themselves feel a little better about themselves rather than just like, yeah, I messed up. I was flawed. I made mistakes. I was immature. That was foolish. The end. But
saw the revenue clip, and that's what I meant by that. And I'm going to defend myself. What I meant by that was I shouldn't have said it like that. Honestly, I should not have said it like that. That was not cool at all. I should have consoled her first. I was saying, tell him it's revenue. It's revenue. Like,
so here he explains. And I mean, it's not that I think that qualifying is always a bad thing. If there really is like okay, look, I understand how this came off. I'm sorry it came off that way, but I do really feel like I need to give some explanation here. Sometimes that can be legit. I did like how he phrased this to start with. I shouldn't have done that. That wasn't cool and I shouldn't have done that. That's the best way to take accountability, is to use the least amount of words possible and just say, this is what I'm being accused of. I recognize it. That was wrong. And I mean, if more words need to be thrown in, okay, but the best way to take accountability is to just shorten it as much as possible. Because once more words are allowed into these kind of conversations, that's where more excuses can come in. That's where twisting of the narrative can come in. So short and sweet is best.
so you can keep it. So you can tell your PO that's what it is, so you can keep that going. Because Gypsy enjoyed doing social media. I didn't want her to be taken away from that. And then I saw the clip where they said, well, of course I saw it, but it said, fine, delete it, but take the money out first. Guys, honestly, who would throw away $6,000? Honestly, would you throw away $6,000 when you could wait one day to get it? Because it might be the 15th. Would you throw away $6,000? I'm just asking. Let's do a poll. Screw it.
So this is very interesting, where he does a poll to see whether people would have kept the 6,000 or not. And this to me was an indication of a lot of sides to Ryan that he doesn't even realize he's showcasing. So he does polls a lot. And to me, I read into that. I mean, polls are great. Polls can be very helpful. I don't have an issue with polls inherently. But the amount of times he uses polls, I believe, really showcases how technically deeply insecure he is about his own. And my nose is itching so much. I'm probably really nervous subconsciously. Sorry. I think he's very insecure about his views on things, but doesn't want to give that off. So he just kind of plays around and acts like it's just a game where he can do a poll and see what people think. But I think deep down inside, he's like, please tell me I'm not alone in thinking that it's logical to want to withdraw this 6K. So with the poll, I see that as a sign of insecurity. And with the whole, who wouldn't want to take out 6K? I can see that on one hand, yeah, 6K is great. I mean, who wouldn't want 6K? Absolutely. But on the flip side of things, while I don't fully understand what all was going on, I think the theme was, I mean, and I know a lot of people were saying that Gypsy was very manipulative in that scene. So let's just cut out the potential, serious manipulation, narcissism, whatever, and just say she was feeling very unsafe for her own just life, being able to continue in the free world. If that was true, his reaction as a husband should simply have been, whatever we need to do to help you feel safe, we got to do that. If that means we lose the 6,000, your sense of safety and peace is far more important than that. That's where he should have been coming from. I mean, not saying, I don't know all the dynamics. If she was manipulating him, I I don't necessarily actually hold to that, but if the scenario was simply someone who wasn't being manipulative saying, I feel really worried that I won't be able to remain in the free world, he should have said, what do we got to do to make you feel safe, to help you, support you in feeling safe? So that's where I think we're about to see a lot of people don't really like how he was like, we got to pull out the 6K first. I'm assuming they're kind of the mindset of that really wasn't supporting her. That was just looking towards your own best interest. It's complex.
Let's do a poll. Quick poll. Yep. Would you take the money out? Like I said, red, yes, blue, no. All the people saying blue, really? You wouldn't take $6,000 out? Really? Come on. Y'all need to quit playing. Just throw $6,000 away. I'm a teacher. $6,000 is a lot of money. I will say that. $6,000 is a lot of money to throw.
So he's trying to really tell people, look, if you don't agree with me, you're wrong. 6,000 is a lot, and I know that I'm right, and I think he was expecting people to agree with him. I think he was actually pretty surprised that people weren't agreeing with him, and that's why he kept reiterating, I'm right, I'm right, I'm right, you don't get it, I'm right, which probably is not a good trend in his conflict management either, but...
Away. So that's what I meant by that. Yeah, it is her money to do what she wants, absolutely, she earned that, but if she just deleted it, I was afraid that she was throwing it away, yeah, it's her money, never was it. And then they wrote that TMZ article about the $6,000. That's the $6,000 that they're talking about. And I didn't even realize I had it until I saw that TMZ article. And I sent Gypsy a text right away. It was like, hey, I didn't realize it was there. It's in our joint bank account, so you have access to it. That's what we still have in our joint. So it's what it is. So, then you're way richer than me. That's a lot of money. So, yeah, I was worried about that at that moment, but I should.
And that's...
Let's say it like that. I do admit I was wrong for that.
I like how he phrased that very last bit. I shouldn't have said that. I was wrong for that. That is the best kind of way to take accountability and basically apologize for something. But again, I've seen this before. He gets very defensive over things that rub against his sense of self and self-worth. And so he's just like, I don't remember how he phrased it, I'm losing track, but just kind of the amount that he pushed back against his audience on the fact that they were disagreeing with, oh yeah, the 6K, and he's like, well, all of you must be super rich. That's a very defensive, trying to kind of come off as somewhat lighthearted, but really it's very much a who are you to tell me that I shouldn't have done that? But he doesn't want to come off that way, so he's like, well, you all must have been super rich to not think that 6K is that much. And I think all of this is really rubbing up against his sense of self, his sense of being able to provide. Yeah, anyway, I don't want to ramble.
Guys, I made mistakes. I'm not perfect. Yeah, I'm rocking the Spurs. I saw the Go Spurs. I'm rocking the Tim Duncan jersey. I love his number 21. So I like the jersey, and it's a cool looking jersey. So thank you for the stuff, Sarah. Thank you. Thank you, guys. The text to the dad was terrible. Let me explain that one. I know y'all think all I do is defend myself. Guys, all right, that night me and Gypsy were texting back and forth. And she said something like, I really miss you beside me. I miss my husband laying next to me. And so I was like, oh, I love that. And then I sent that text, joking, I don't really care how your dad's feeling right now. This is how I would have said it. I'd have said, babe, I really don't care how your dad's feeling right now. I just want you beside me. That's how I would have said it. On the text, it sounded way worse. And she knew I was joking right away. But then when we got in that argument, then it became, look at this text. Look at this text. Look.
And if she is the manipulative person that a lot of people seem to think she is, I could totally see that being the case, that she received it one way and then was like, Dad, look at this later. It could also have happened that at first she received it kind of lightheartedly and then thought about it and was like, hold up, that's not okay. So I disagree with him on the fact that this was just a joking text that should have just been left between the two of them. It could have just been left between the two of them if she chose to do that, but I disagree that it was just a lighthearted joking thing. Because while it was probably very difficult, extremely difficult, to not have the physical connection and contact with her that he wanted to have all those years that she was incarcerated, he is showing that even with his claim of joking, which she said he always does, and I believe that too, he's showing that he doesn't really have a genuine headspace of, I miss you too, I can't wait for you to be back and we can be together, but I so respect and support this time with your dad. That would be the sign of someone who is confident in themselves, confident in their spouse, understanding of the need to be self-sacrificing in a lot of ways. Marriage is all about self-sacrifice. And I mean, my life, I feel like, has been very easy up to date, generally speaking. And we have had some very hard things happen, but I mean, I feel like my life is easy, so I'm not saying that I think I've got it all down pat, but I know for a fact marriage is very much about self-sacrifice. And so his mindset should not have, even in a joking way, been, I really don't care about your dad, I just want you here. It should have been, I can't wait for you to come back, have a great time with your dad, because I know that means the world to him. So
if she doesn't care about your daddy's feelings, that's so BS. I care about her daddy's feelings all the way, like all the way. Her dad knows that. I hope he does. Like, I respect him so much. And, you know, I was hurt not being invited that weekend, but it still was one of those where, like, I accepted it, you know, like, and when I say let her go, I let her go. Like,
he accepted it because he had to. He had no other option but to be like, okay.
I couldn't have stopped her. Like, anytime she wanted to do anything with her family, she did. You know, honestly, guys, I'm going to tell the truth when I'm on here. Anytime she wanted to do anything, she got to do whatever she wanted to do. So that's why I don't like when they're always like, thank you for letting her come. Like, I couldn't stop her even if I wanted to, which I didn't. So that text was a joke. Like, it was like, I don't give a damn about your daddy's feelings right now. I just want you next to me. And like, that was just me joking around.
There's no form of that is actually a joke or okay. Point blank.
I know I've seen some comments like, oh, just because you say it's a joke doesn't mean it's not mean. I mean, I get that, but I mean, come on. If I didn't care about her daddy's feelings, I would have threw a bigger fit, which I didn't even throw a fit at all. So, y'all believe what you want, but I'm just telling you, like, I loved her dad, and I hated that me and Gypsy got a little tiff because I was like, why did you show your dad that? Like, that was a joke text. And I did get mad. Like, I was kind of offended that she showed him that text because it was not needed. You know what I mean? Like, that was just a joke between husband and wife.
Let's just say the scenario happened where she, in that moment or in general, was not the crazy manipulative person a lot of people think she is. Because I have experienced this in my past too, when I was in a very unhealthy dynamic. And I would get annoyed at, and I mean, I think I still kind of do this, but with my husband, life is so much healthier, praise God. I think I still do this to an extent, but I definitely did it in the past where the gravity of something wouldn't hit me for like a day or two, and then all of a sudden I'd be thinking back on it and be like, hold up, I am so not okay with that. And it would be annoying for both of us, honestly, because it's like, why can't I just think of these things in the moment? It's like, I can't explain it. It is what it is, which I don't like that phrase, but I don't know what else to say. So I could see someone being in her shoes and needing a day or two to actually think about how that went down and then being like, hey, I'm not okay with that. And if that is what happened between her and Ryan, he shouldn't have gotten upset. I mean, I can understand feeling a little awkward over, maybe a little hurt over her showing the text to her dad. But again, the important part of marriage is trying to take the bird's eye view of things and say, rather than, I'm so hurt that you showed this message that you were only supposed to have seen, say, I don't love that you showed it to them, but the most important thing here is that I made you feel insecure. And even if you didn't feel insecure initially, as you thought about it, I see it really made you feel worried, and you're worth far more than me feeling vindicated in this. So, okay, let's talk through this. Let's talk about why were you not worried before, and now you are, to the point where you felt like you needed to show your dad, how can I handle this better? How can we both work through this better together in the future? That's what should happen. But again, Ryan got very offended. So.
And then it became something that it just shouldn't have been. Tressa, thank you for the galaxy. Matt, thank you for the rose. Ow, Pixie, quit eating my finger. Quit eating my finger. Look at that. Work on myself for future relationships. Guys, it's kind of funny. I see the mistake. Oh, what was that? Cool, boxing gloves. Nat, thank you. You know, guys, I never got a chance to fix my mistakes that I made. That's one thing I never got a chance to fix it. When I was like, say, let's work on it, I really would have worked on it. You know, it's just, I never got that opportunity. So I love how people, I'm not going to talk about that aspect. I'm not going to talk about her pregnancy, guys. Like, I don't even know what to say on that. Yeah. Are you the BD? That's funny. Right, guys, I just read comments and talk. So, like, my lies maybe be too much, but just is what it is. Is this my revenue? No, guys, this is not my revenue. I have a job. And I start working back at the school. See, summer break is almost over. Summer break is almost over. I had a long summer break. I've had like 2 months off. And so I got to start a couple weeks. Not looking forward to it. I mean, I've enjoyed my summer, but I enjoy teaching them. Pixie, you are a fireball right now. Why are you being so silly?
Pixie is so adorable. So adorable. When I watched her in this video, because we'll see her later, she is the cutest little fluff ball. I love her so much.
And teeth, little sharp teeth of hers. Why are you being so silly? Look. Look how cute she is.
She's adorable.
Gypsy's not a Bob. Quit saying that. I shouldn't have said that as a joke. You know, I got flack for that, but I was just joking. You know, ever since I haven't talked to Gypsy in a while about her pregnancy. So, like I said, we're letting our lawyers handle our divorce, and you know, I gotta just leave it alone, really. So, you know, I'm not bothering her.
That's good.
You know,
He needs that.
Like I said, we had that one reach out moment where me and Ken got into it, and it was a mistake. We should have done that. But, you know, it's one of those where Gypsy's going to be a great mom, and I will say that. But that's all I'm going to talk about that because there's legal ramifications going on. There's so much stuff. It's crazy. It's crazy. But just is what it is. You know, I still get comments from people who are like, you know, if you ever want to get rid of Pixie, let me know. I would gladly take Pixie, guys. I'm not getting rid of Pixie. Pixie's Pixie's mine. You know, like Pixie's my girl. Now, do I like the fact that I'm about to go back to teaching and Pixie's gonna be at home alone? No, I don't like that.
Yeah, that's really sad. I will say it's almost kind of like Pixie is a blessing in disguise, I feel like, potentially for him, because he's got a living being to go home to. It doesn't replace a human by any means. His heart is going to have to spend a lot of time healing and maturing and growing. But at least there is another being at the house when he gets home. So.
Ryan, when I do a dating show, guys, filming was hard enough as it was. Like, you guys, I took a break from doing social media. Like I said, I had a lot of processing, a lot of reflecting, and the show was going on, and I wanted to give her time I wanted it to be about her with her pregnancy and not about me. So I didn't want to, I was giving her space. All you need is me, and I like that little comment I just saw. All you need is me. That's cute. Guys, I do apologize. Well, I don't apologize, but, you know, in the episode, I did make mistakes. Like, I'm not perfect. I've never claimed to be perfect.
Come on.
You know, especially that revenue clip got me because I only elevated when she elevated at me. So when she's like, I don't care, I elevated too. And I shouldn't have. I shouldn't have elevated. I did. I got my heart racing, so I elevated, and I should have de-escalated. Like, guys, I make mistakes. I'm human. I'm not perfect. You know, and I was serious when I said, like,
I have mixed feelings about this statement because on the one hand, I mean, it's valid to say I didn't go into it having any plans to yell, but then the other person was, and then I let that affect me, and then I started yelling. Like, in some ways that might not be shifting blame, but I feel like his general method of handling things is to kind of minimize blame wherever possible on himself. So that's where I just, again, wish he had said, I should have led by example and not raised my voice and just kept things calm and civil. I didn't. And that was my mistake. I just left it at that rather than, well, because she raised her voice, that made me raise my voice. You know?
I would have gone to marriage counseling. I would have done that. You know, I would have done that. We just never had that opportunity. Oh my gosh, move on. The show's going on, people. Like, I'm talking about the show. Like, I mean, I am. You know, it's funny. Move on. Like, where am I going? Like, she did me wrong. Guys, I saw somebody say I've seen some quotes where people say I was controlling and insecure. You know, guys, I'm usually not an insecure person. If I became insecure, it's because I got driven to that point. You know, thank you for the swan, unapologetic.
That's a really interesting. He's going to talk a little bit more about this, I think, and this is such an interesting mindset to have because on the one hand, that can be very true if we allow ourselves, I mean, I'm speaking from my own experience, like if we allow ourselves to interact with the wrong kind of person who kind of gets into our brain waves without us fully even recognizing it, it can make us totally lose sight of ourselves, of who we want to be, of who we used to be. It can completely alter our sense of security within ourselves, within life in general. Being, you know, it makes us feel like, can I even trust my own self? Can I even trust other people? So I get that, but here's where my 5 a.m. brilliance kicked in, even though I'm sure it's not brilliance, but I just liked it. So I have said in the past, in a video that I made about Ryan, that I assumed he probably was very arrogant. I had no evidence of that yet. There weren't, I don't think, really any clips floating around that really made him seem super arrogant. But when people are deeply insecure, it's actually a sign of arrogance, which doesn't make a lot of sense, but maybe this mental image will help a bit. So the way I see Ryan is, I don't know all about his growing up history. I forget if I had learned details of his childhood. I forget it. I think he had a relatively stable family, but I don't remember. But I do believe, based on just actions and physicality that we can see, he has spent probably decades building up a wall of self-protection in front of himself. So it's like, here's one brick that I'm going to label this is confidence. I'm going to say it's confidence. And here's another brick, and it's going to be overeating. But then here's another brick on top of that brick to explain why the overeating is not really a problem. And here's another brick. It's going to be aloofness, but I'm going to say it's confidence. And it's like he's spent decades building up this massive wall in front of him, which is an effort to not experience whatever kind of pain he did experience, I'm assuming, years ago that kind of started this whole process. And the way I see Ryan is he's this likely very young version of Ryan standing behind this massive wall of bricks that he looks at and says, no one is going to come hurt me. No one is going to be able to make it over this wall and hurt me unless they try extremely hard because I'm confident. See, look at this wall. I am so confident. And it's hard for me to become insecure. But the reality is that wall is actually a wall of insecurity, and it keeps real relationship out, and it keeps bad relationships in a way. Because self-confidence, real self-confidence isn't a wall, it's a base. That's not the word I wanted to use. Foundation. Real self-confidence is a foundation that you stand on without a wall of self-protection. Because when we enter into relationships of any kind, work relationships, friendship relationships, church relationships, family relationships, romantic relationships, we are inherently opening ourselves up to pain. If we actually pursue having depth in the relationship, we know that we can and likely will in some way get hurt at some point. True confidence is not okay, I'll let you into my life, but you better not do something to hurt me. True confidence says, my baseline is I'm real, I'm genuine, I'm going to present the most real, genuine self, my version of myself to you, but I also have boundaries. And if I see certain boundaries being crossed, then I will find a respectful, gentle way to not allow that to continue. Not in an arrogant, self-protective, get away from me, how dare you, but just this is me, this is who I am. I present it to you. If you can accept this in a respectful way, let's move forward. If you can't, then I will have the confidence to let this go and move on. But it's not a wall, it's a foundation under me that I'm coming from. Ryan is seeing life via this huge wall that he's built in front of himself and is misnaming, my brain's not working, missing that as confidence. So he really is truly very insecure, I do believe. And I'm sorry, that was so long and rambling. And I hope that he can figure out how to dismantle that wall that he's built to actually learn and grow in true confidence, which is based in humility, which won't lash out, which won't try to prove himself as right, which won't get easily offended. Just takes life as it comes. When he makes mistakes, owning up to it without excuse. If he's confident he hasn't made a mistake, discussing it and handling it with as much respect for the other people as he can. Just maturity, calmness, I'm sorry, I'm just rambling at this point. I should not be making a video with 4 hours sleep.
So I got driven to that. It wasn't that I'm usually an insecure person, because I'm not. I'm very confident. I'm sometimes too confident. It goes to be cocky. Mm-hmm. But it is what it is. I became insecure because of what happened. And I feel like I was justified in it. Now, do I wish I wouldn't? Absolutely. Absolutely. Because there's things that I could take back. There's things I wish I didn't do. But, I see, I look back and it's like she checked out before she left. So, yeah. And everybody knows why. Have y'all been enjoying the show? I don't know how the ratings are. Nobody's ever told me. Yes, y'all do like it? Guys, it's funny. Somebody told me oh, you always get on live after the episode to describe your red flags. Guys, Lifetime does edit things strictly for drama. Me and Gypsy had a lot of great times. Oh, thank you for the training. That's so cool. And, you gotta realize your Lifetime is the drama channel. That's their MO is drama.
I'm sure that's true. I'm sure all of that is true. I am very curious, and we'll never know. I'm curious how many of the positive experiences he had with Gypsy were genuinely positive versus experiences that he convinced himself were good experiences just to kind of help preserve his own sanity. When looking back on it, maybe there are way more signs than he even let himself know. But who knows? Maybe they actually really did enjoy their time together for a bit before she just, like he said, checked out.
So they filmed all our drama, and we had a lot of great times. I wish they'd have showed so many stuff. Like, you know, me and Gypsy really do have a great connection. You know, it's the revenue, guys. I meant that as like that's your job. Tell your PO so you can keep your social media, which she enjoys doing. Like, she even said that in one of the episodes. Like, this is new to me, so I enjoy doing this, and you know, I want her to be free to do whatever she wanted. So yeah, it was when I said it. Tell him it's revenue. It's revenue. Like that. Tell him that's your job so you can keep it. I just didn't say it in the right way. And then when she escalated and said, I don't care, I escalated. And I shouldn't have. But in the episode, you see us, we make up right after. Like, and that's one thing I always enjoyed about that, my previous relationship, is that we always fought and made up, like, right away. Like, it was cool. Like,
and I'm really interested in that concept for him because it just seemed like, and I mean, I know TV editing is TV editing, but it just seemed like it was this constant downward spiral. So it's like, no, I don't need you to update right now. Thank you. Go away. Go away. I'm sorry. I wonder how much of the making up was actually making up healthfully versus saying the things that each other wanted to hear to make the uncomfortable moments end so that they could try to create a happy moment later, but never actually working on things the way they needed to be worked on. I'm more of the mindset that it was likely not a healthy makeup because I mean, or maybe they're just both insanely immature, which I also can relate to that. In the past, I try not to be immature now. Where you kind of do the right things, you kind of say the right things, you kind of think about things the right way, but your own selfishness and immaturity gets in the way when you run into a similar situation, and then you just go right back to unhealthy behaviors rather than saying, I have been here before. This did not go well. How can I handle this better in this moment so that we don't blow up at each other again? You know, I mean, it takes practice and humility, which I don't think either of them have a lot of. So
that's one thing I do miss about my previous relationship is that we had that such a good connection that when we fought, we moved on. It was like, it was gone.
Moved on healthfully?
I never brought it up again. Like, and, you know, that's one reason it hit me hard is because, like, we had a great connection. So, and guys, I know she's pregnant. Like, I get it. And I know there's some people, I just don't want to get into it right now. I'll do a video about it, and I'll explain more about that situation. I'm not
sure
going to do it on live because I'll ramble. I know I'll just sit here and ramble and just blah and just be, and yeah, Christy definitely opened the door. I saw somebody just wrote that. Christy caused it. Christy definitely opened that door. And I love the fact that Rod called her out on it. Like, Rod always had my back, and I appreciate that.
I don't understand Christy at all.
I couldn't respect him more. You know, like, it was one of those where, like, that's why I was mad about that text, is because, like, I respected Rod so much, and that was a joke with Gypsy. Like, I said that in a way to be like, I don't give a damn. I would have said if it was anybody else, you know, I shouldn't use her dad, but if it was like, say she was at her friend's house, I don't give a damn about your friend right now. I just want my wife next to me because I miss you. And then I wrote, haha, like.
It's still not better. It still is minimizing the other person, and there's another word I wanted to add in there, but disrespecting. It really is minimizing and disrespecting the other person. Doesn't matter who the other person is. It's not showing an understanding of the importance of this person having their time with your loved one. So it's just, there's no way you can make that acceptable. It should never have been said. Did it maybe get blown out of proportion? Maybe. I don't know. But it shouldn't have been said at all in any way.
A minute, like, I just want you next to me because I miss you. Like, she said the same thing, but it was a
and
joke.
And if all you had said was, oh, I want you next to me, I do miss you. Like, that has a little bit of the tendrils of the same thing, but that would have been much different, much better, because it's just an honest, I do miss you being next to me. I would love for you to be next to me, but it doesn't add in the, I don't give a blank about this other person in your life. It needs to be all about me. That's really what it boils down to.
Like, whether y'all believe it or not, it was a joke, and I was hurt that she showed her dad because, like, that was a joke between husband and wife, and when you read it, it sounds worse than it actually is. No. Because when you read things, you can read things wrong. Everybody knows this in a text. You read things how you want it. But if I'd have said it, she would have known I was joking right away.
It wouldn't have really been
like, she'd have known I was joking right away. I get it. I wish I wouldn't have wrote that as a joke, but I did, and it became an ordeal when it shouldn't have been, because it wasn't a big deal. Like, I mean, I respect your dad's feelings. That's why I wanted Gypsy to have one-on-one with her dad. That's what she went there for. And then I got mad that it turned out to be like a family weekend. And I didn't get mad, just my feelings got hurt. Because, like, I was wanting to meet Gypsy's brother, Dylan, and I had met him, and I was really, really looking forward to meeting him. And then every time that me and Gypsy would go over there, he was never there. So I never got to meet him. And then come to find out that weekend, he comes over for a barbecue, and I was like, damn, I really wanted to meet him. So my feelings got hurt on that. And so
I can understand feelings being hurt. Since I don't watch the show, really, I mean, I don't have access to the show. I'm assuming there were reasons for why things panned out the way they did and who was or was not there. But outside of all of that, I can understand feelings being hurt. And I think that's a separate issue. If it was a healthy relationship dynamic, separate conversation, separate issue of, well, why am I not there and all that. But in this context right here now, I just think that he still was thinking too much about himself.
It is what it is. Yeah, Dylan's her brother. That's Rod and Christy's oldest son. What about the constant smothering? Guys, on camera, they want you in the same room at all times. Like when we were by ourselves, I wasn't standing over her like that. Like when you're filming, they want you in the room. Like, you know, it's not good camera if I'm sitting here like this and she's over there or on the other side of the couch, which there was scenes like that, but they want you together trying to get the same shot. So when they're filming, they're showing us just in the same room over and over, you know, just so it looks that way. But guys, you don't know what I'm saying until you get filmed. Like,
I'm really curious. That would be really interesting if the filming process actually kind of created more tension and more audience concern than there would have been had there been no cameras. There should never have been cameras. I take such issue with everyone wanting to be on camera during this time. It's absurd, but
like I'm not riding her coattail. Like, God, I hate that comment. Quit riding her coattail. I'm not. I'm doing my own thing. I'm talking about the show and my experiences. Yeah. Elliot, thank you for that.
I found it really interesting. I watched that more than once because that reaction, for some reason, the strength of it surprised me. Like, it really, really annoys him that people think he's trying to ride on her coattails. And I don't fully understand. I mean, yeah, that would be embarrassing and hurtful if that was what someone was being accused of, be it true or not. But I feel like his insecurity in that could go a lot of different ways. And I think for sure right now he really wants to be seen and appreciated as himself because he's no longer connected to Gypsy in any way. So for people to be saying, oh, you're just riding her coattails, I think that really digs into, again, his, what I believe is blatant insecurity. Because he's like, well, I want people to like me for me. And they keep pairing me with this person that's just decided to run off on me. So maybe that's it. I don't know. Maybe there's other reasons.
That's cool. You know? So I just get tired of hearing that. Like, did I make mistakes? Absolutely. I will admit that. I wish I could have done better, but in the situation, I never got a chance to fix it. Which wasn't cool. And Gypsy knows that wasn't fair to me, but I haven't talked to her in a while, so I don't know. Guys, I'm not gonna talk about her pregnancy. But like I said, I will say this. Oh, what was that? Nat with the paws, Reese with the coin. I will say, guys, stop.
When the way he keeps repeating, I couldn't fix it. I agree with anyone else who says he's still in love with her because he thinks that it was fixable. And unless it really is the case that there's a different Gypsy that none of us know, I don't think the dynamic with her was fixable. I don't think Gypsy fosters an environment of, sorry, my hair is really annoying me. I have no idea what it's doing right now. I don't think Gypsy's the kind of person who fosters an environment where you can have a healthy dynamic where things can get fixed. She does what she wants, and if she's done with it, she's done with it. And you're so out of luck. So.
With the comments of trying to take her kid away or her baby, I don't like that. I don't condone that attitude. You know, that's not cool. You don't call CPS on people just because you don't like somebody or you think they did something wrong. You know, like in my opinion, Gypsy's gonna be a great mom. And that's all I'm gonna say about it. Like, there's way more to say. Don't think that I don't have plenty to say about it, but I'm not gonna talk about it on this live. So, Lucy Lama, thank you. Cabril. Did y'all miss me when I was gone? Let me see. I will do a poll about that. Let's see. Did y'all miss my lives when I was gone? Yes.
Now, I don't know if comments spurred that. I don't know what the kind of comments were, but I again found that so interesting because he would ask Gypsy, do you miss me? I miss you. Do you miss me? Now he's asking his audience, do you miss me? Did you miss me? He needs that constant validation of I am appreciated and people think about me when I'm not there and they want me to be there. And can you please tell me and remind me that you want me here? Please let me know that you want me here. It's interesting.
Ed is yes. Blue is no. Y'all miss me while I was gone? Yeah, got a lot of support. I love like the 300, 400 people, 500. All right, so nobody missed me in the blue, the 831, the 1,000 people. Y'all didn't miss me? What the hell y'all doing here? Y'all just trying to get me to say quotes, talk bad about her? I'm not going to. We did. Thank y'all. For the people in red, thank y'all for missing me. I appreciate that. Guys, I have told y'all I love all the messages y'all send. Like, I do read every message, okay? I've said that in previous lives. I'll say it again, guys. I read every message, and even if it's a long one, those long ones, I love them. Like they're sweet. You know what you got? I'm not going to talk about that. Can I address that? I will talk about it when I feel more comfortable about talking about it, about the news she dropped. I'm not going to have a lot to say. There's things I need to say, but I don't want to discuss them right now.
I think that's really interesting, and I am curious why he's holding back. I think he was saying there's a lot of legal stuff involved. I don't know if there's stuff with the show that we'll find out, and then he can talk about it. But I also imagine, aside from all that, I really do believe this is extremely painful for him, and he wants to try to be as careful as he can to not dig himself into a ditch. But I'm sure the pain is just overwhelming for him, because I do believe he still loves her. And so for her to be with this man that he always wondered if she was with, for good reason, or wanting to be with, I should say, and now she's with him and she's having his baby, like, that's just got to be 1,000 knives in the heart. Now, do I think any of these people are very healthy? No, but I can try to empathize with where he's probably at right now.
You know, it's a process in Louisiana. It's a process. How's Pixie? Pixie's great. Pixie's amazing. Look, she's ready. Go get it. Oh, she slid into the door.
So cute.
Oh, I love that. That was cool. That was cool. Tour of your apartment. I've walked around my apartment plenty of lives. Guys, I appreciate the support that I've got from people who were sad for me for the episode. I do appreciate it, guys. I do get emotional over that, because my heart, like, if you're watching the series, you know how I felt about my wife. Like, you know I really loved her.
I think
so. You know, if you don't realize that, then, you know, what the hell's wrong with you? Honestly, like, if you don't notice that, then, ooh, you got issues.
Now, so again, it's very defensive. I believe in his own way, he did and does love her very much. I also believe he doesn't understand what real love is and what it needs to look like and feel like and what it shouldn't look like and what it shouldn't feel like. Just back to like my own video that I did about my own experience in a really unhealthy relationship, I do 100,000% believe that he created an image and a character of Gypsy in his mind of who he thought she was and who he wanted her to be, and he fell in love with that person and never let go of that version of her the entire time he was with her. I'm speaking from my own experience. I know what that's like. And it's very difficult to see the reality when you're doing that. So I think he loved an unreal version of her with a very kind of broken love. And I think a lot of people are seeing that brokenness. I don't want to say brokenness, that sounds mean, but just a lack of understanding. I think people are really seeing that lack of understanding and are calling him out on things that I think are genuine. But again, it makes him very defensive because it rubs up against his sense of self. And so he's saying, if you can't see that I just deeply loved this girl, you've got problems. It's like, no, maturity would say, if you can't tell that I really loved her, that's really unfortunate. Maybe you guys just don't, maybe you just kind of want to villainize me, but also maybe I should leave room for the fact that I'm not entirely who I perceive my own self to be, and or this other person was not who I perceived them to be. And maybe there is some space for the reality of our relationship actually being different than the way that I perceived us to be in it, speaking from his perspective.
Because my heart was in the right place. And I know she didn't deserve me.
Your heart can be in the right place and you can do things completely wrongly.
You know, guys, when it comes to that relationship, I don't want to keep going on about it, trying to move on. Trying. It's harder than y'all think. But I haven't talked to her in a while, so it's getting easier, I guess. I don't know.
No, it's not.
But you're right.
Yeah, when he says, I guess, I don't know.
I think so. Just a bigger guy. Like, if I was, thank you for the train, Talia. Guys, thank y'all for the gifts. It's hard to move on TV. That's right. That's right. Seeing some of these comments, did I get my ring back? You'll see in the next episode. I think I talked about the ring in the next episode. There's only one more left.
Crazy.
There's only one more left. So, you know, it's been a whirlwind, guys. It's been crazy. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I only see clips. Like,
me too.
I lived it. I know reactions now. When I clips, I'm like, ooh, I probably should have done it like that. I wish there was things I could take back. You know, there's certain situations, but you know, my reactions were always genuine, and I got driven to that point. You know, like, you know, I just never got a chance to remedy the issues. You know, my birthday was June 23rd. I just had my birthday. So just had my birthday. like I said, I took a week off from doing social media. I had a lot of process, and episodes came out. I hate that I cried on TV though. Like I bawled like a baby. And that one where I'm sitting on my bed, I'm wearing a red shirt. That was 2 weeks after she left. And guys, I will say the prayer.
Oh, the prayer was insane. Yeah, I did see a clip of him on the bed, and you can just see in his eyes, he is beyond devastated. There's like no hope in his eyes. And that was, even though I think he absolutely dodged a bullet with not being with Gypsy, it is heartbreaking to see anyone in a state like that. So, poor Ryan. Poor Ryan in that moment.
That Christy did, that's a little much. That was a little much. Don't know what to say about that one. That was a little much right there. Especially, I guess she was praying because she got what she wanted. So, it makes sense for her to pray. She got what she wanted out of the deal. So, am I answering? Yeah, of course that was Christy's plan. Like, Christy didn't want me and Gypsy to get married, like, at all. She begged Gypsy not to marry me. And then when we got married, she had to accept it. And one thing I will say is I don't get into the drama. Like, me and Christy, I thought we had an okay relationship. Like, it wasn't as close as her and Ken are, honestly. But, you know, I noticed right away, like, after we got married, Christy would call me and it'd be about drama on the internet about Gypsy. And be like, did you see this? Did you see this article? Or what do you think of this? And I didn't get in it. Like,
yeah, I mean, I don't know much of Christy at all, but I know people don't have a very favorable view of her. And I just get the sense that she herself is very immature. And that's all I can really say is I think that is at least one word that probably sums her up very well.
Like, I didn't care enough about the drama because, like, I knew my wife. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't want to read negative comments, and I didn't want to attack people for being there. Like, that's the freedom of this country is people can say and do what they want. And
True.
You know, but I didn't want to be like always bothered by it. So I take it, you know, she wanted somebody that she could talk to, and Ken, I guess, talk to her about all that stuff because I didn't. You know, I'm like Rod in that respect.
I mean, if that's true, then good for Ryan, and also not hugely shocking about Ken. Ken himself also does seem very immature in a lot of ways. And I could see him enjoying kind of becoming part of the whole drama, kind of behind the scenes, not someone who's in front of the camera attacking people, but just like fueling the fire in ways, if you will. And maybe that's kind of something that he and Christy connected on. Maybe Christy just felt like she thought similarly to Ken. But yeah, just the fact that she maintained that connection to her stepdaughter's ex is very strange. I don't get it at all.
Fact is, I don't get into that drama. I do my own thing. And where'd your heart thing go? Where'd it go? There it is. But enough about that. New NCAA game came out, and it is awesome. It's helped me keep my mind occupied.
That's good.
These last couple of days, it's really helped me keep my mind focused on something other than the TV show or what's been going on. So I'm grateful for NCAA and, you know, football. I'm grateful for that. So, you know, especially with the news coming out and all that stuff. But, guys, I will do a video strictly on my thoughts about just pregnancy.
Very
I will do a video about it. I just don't want to talk about it live because I know I would ramble. And I would ramble and I'd probably say something stupid or something hurtful or, you know, I don't want to go that way. I think, you know.
That's wise.
I'm just not going to talk about it.
That's good for him.
Like, I have my thoughts and my thing. So I do appreciate the support that people have been giving me. And I do appreciate that people do give me support and are genuinely there for me. And I do really appreciate that, like, very much, guys. This is the first live I've done in like a week and a half, 2 weeks.
Like I said, he really does seem to use TikTok as a huge source of comfort and validation and confirmation of his own worth. And that's just heartbreaking, really. You should not be getting any of your sense of validation from the internet. I think when I was a lot younger, I was interested in YouTube really as a way to get validation. I didn't quite see it that way, but it's true. Now, I don't. I love it when people enjoy my content. It makes me very happy and excited. But if people don't enjoy my content, that's fine. I mean, aside from, I don't want to be unnecessarily offensive, but if I don't get the sense that I'm being unnecessarily offensive, I'm just not someone's cup of tea, okay, that's totally normal and acceptable. That's just life. And my validation does not in any way come from people's view of me on YouTube. My validation comes from God and from the people in my real life. So it's sad that he really seems to be using the internet to validate himself.
Took a break. The last 2 episodes were hard episodes. You know, and it's funny if people think I do these lives to defend myself. I really don't. I just do these lives because, you know, it's therapeutic, and I love the support that I get from people. And I love like the likes, like 1.5 million is so cool. I never
Ryan,
did
it
social
means
media before the
nothing.
show came out. You know, and people seem to like them. I get a
These 1.5 million likes, however that works, I don't think it's 1.5 million people. I think it's just people tapping a bunch. But Ryan, if you see this video, these are invisible people that don't know you and you don't know them. It doesn't really, it really doesn't matter how much these people do or don't support you. Because you and I both know if something were to come out that made you look really bad, these people would turn in an instant and change their mind. Perhaps rightfully so, but that's how the internet works. This is not real, true, healthy support. It's fun. It's money, clearly. So I mean, good for you on that. But it has very, very little value, really. So
lot of positive comments about my lives. Now, will I keep doing them forever? I don't know. I mean, guys, I know that I do know the show's almost over, and it's one of those things where I'm not, you know, like people are going to forget about me, which is fine. You know, that's to be expected. Glad y'all like the show. I'm glad y'all enjoy it. It did affect our marriage. Just because we were always tired. And then 1 month I got sick. I got real sick for the month of February. And then Gypsy got sick. I got sick. Gypsy got sick.
I feel like there's clips of her that she was like coughing and her voice sounded off and it was like, is she okay?
And, you know, that month was just strange. We were both really sick. Like she'd cough all night. I went to the urgent care doctor 3 times. Had to get breathing treatments. I had COVID. I had COVID, and I was supposed to watch the Royal Rumble with my buddies on June 30th. Not June 30th, January 30th this past year. Like, my buddies were coming over, they were going to film it for the show, and that's why I never saw my friends in the show, because we were doing it there for that episode. And it ended up, I was sick that Friday, and I remember coming home and being like, we went out to eat with Gypsy's parents, and I got through it. It was like a Thursday night, and Friday I was like, babe, I don't feel good, and I went to work, I toughed it out. And then Saturday, like I woke up like, oh my God, I just couldn't breathe. And it was one of those where like I coughed all night, I had fever, and I had one of those home COVID tests, and I took it and it came back positive right away, bam. And, you know, I told Gypsy, I was like, look, I ain't gonna tell my friends because I really want to watch the Royal Rumble, they're gonna film. And she was like, you better tell your friends. So I ended up telling my friends, and then the camera.
That is like the one moment of wisdom I for sure 100,000% agree with her on, and I am shocked and disappointed in Ken. I'm so sorry, whatever the heck this is that he's talking about. Frankly, I don't care. Ryan, not Ken. I'm so sorry. Ryan, I'm so sorry. And if I've called him Ken elsewhere, again, I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry if this is something he's really looking forward to, but if you have COVID, it is absolutely unacceptable to be like, I just won't tell anyone because I really want to do this thing. Like, COVID comes before anything and everything else, in my opinion. Maybe not everyone's going to agree with me, but even if it wasn't COVID, when people have horrible colds, my husband and I, well, I won't go into that. I won't blame on the internet, but being sick and still being around people can have some really not fun, drastic effects later on down the line. So it is very, very much important that if you're very ill, don't go hang out with your friends.
Camera crew found out, and they gave us like a week off from filming. And that was the longest we had from filming. Like, we didn't have to film that whole week, but it was terrible because I was sick the whole week. I missed a whole week of work. I went to urgent care 3 times, like I said.
Oof.
My COVID turned into bronchitis. At first, they thought it was walking pneumonic. And I'm telling you guys, I was really sick. And then it sucked because Gypsy started coughing, and then I had to take her to the urgent care once. Y'all remember when, this is kind of funny, but there was an image of me and Gypsy in the hospital walking, and people were like, yo, she's pregnant. It's kind of funny now when you think about it. But, you know, people, that's crazy now that she actually is pregnant. People are probably going to be like, trying to put those two together. She knew that moment. Anyway, I need to stop talking. But, I'm an idiot.
He's like, I'm going to get in so much trouble
anyway,
for
we went
that.
up there for my chest x-ray, and that's when I was sick. It was that time.
Go show you never know what's going on.
So I got sick, and it sucked because that was around Valentine's Day. Gypsy was sick on Valentine's Day. I was still recovering. You know, Mardi Gras was around that time. Like, me and Gypsy had so much fun stuff planned that we didn't get to do it. And it really, really, really sucked.
But then I do remember that clip where it was the day before Valentine's Day or something, where she walked in, woke Ryan up. I don't understand that. To tell him that she missed Ken. I mean, Ryan, you have to see the reality of things. Your wife was busy missing her ex during this holiday that's supposed to be, if it's going to be celebrated at all, because some people hate the commercialization of Valentine's Day, but if it's going to be celebrated with a spouse, it's meant to be a really sweet time with your spouse. And yet right around that time, she's telling you, by the way, I still miss this other guy. That's, even if you had fun plans, they shouldn't have happened, because that's so not a healthy dynamic. That's so not her truly caring about you, especially during a holiday where it's supposed to really represent how much you care about each other. It's just sad how he sees this so inaccurately.
And then Christy started in on, see, he never takes you anywhere and y'all never do anything, but I was sick. Like, it sucked at all. And Gypsy acknowledges that we were both sick. So, this is what it is. This is sad. Don't be sad. I'm all right. Don't be sad.
I do love the fleur de lis.
I'm not sad. Don't be sad. I'll still teach her. Yeah, I go back to work in 2 weeks. Why, I just worry about money? Whatever. Like, that's so funny. Like, I was with her for 3 years.
Did he just get really red?
Anything to the table. Like, it's funny that that's what y'all think. It's ludicrous. Like, the people who believe that.
I could be wrong, but I feel like he just got really red, which if he did, I think means he got real mad, but is trying to keep it under wraps. Or really embarrassed, but.
And that's fine. I can't prevent y'all from believing that, but that's not the case. Yeah, 3 years, 4 years, 4 years actually, when I've known her 4 years. And
crazy.
I almost said something that's like true, but I didn't, you know.
See, and that, because I can't remember if he's pulled that out before. The concept of telling someone, I almost said something there, but I chose not to. That is a very manipulative, I can't speak clearly right now, manipulative technique of withholding information, making them either want to know what you're going to say or scared over the fact that it must have been so bad you chose not to say it. He's really trying to find little ways to elevate himself. A mature person would have maybe almost said the thing, held their tongue and been like, not going to go there, and just moved on, rather than being like, there is a thing that I could have said and it would have really hurt, but you know what? I chose not to say it because I'm that person. I just don't like it.
Why did I say I'm letting her go see her family? Because, like, they're like, how do you feel about letting her go? I'm letting her go see her family. Like, it wasn't like I could have stopped her. I told y'all, like, I couldn't have stopped her. And I didn't want to stop her. Like, anytime she wanted to see her family, she got to see her family. I would never prevented her from doing that. And that's what bothers me about that, is I never prevented her from doing a damn thing. Besides going swimming. That's the one that they hold on to, is I didn't let her go swimming. No, I didn't, because we were sick in February. And she wanted to go swimming in February. I was trying to prevent her from getting COVID and pneumonia. Plus, our pool was closed. So that's the one thing I told her, nope, you cannot do.
He was just very,
hey, Emily, how you doing?
I think very jealous over the idea of her being with her family without him. And he said earlier in this that he kind of accepted it, but the number of times he made it very clear that he really wasn't loving the fact that he wasn't going with her and really wished he could, it's like, that's not really accepting it. It's basically like kind of a little kid tantrum of like, well, I know that you're not going to let me go, and I just really wish that you would. I'm just really sad that you're not, but I get it. I can't go. I get that. I respect that. But boy, I really wish I could. Like, if she had in her moment said, well, do you want to come? He would have said in like half a second, yes. Yes. Like, it was not a mature acceptance of, I would love to be there with you, but I see that this is not what you're finding important in this moment, so stings, but I respect it. Have a good time. You know, it was just kind of a constant, I want to be there. I'm sad that I'm not. I wish you weren't doing this. Anyway.
I agree with one of those comments I just saw about somebody else. Am I looking for a new love? If the right one comes along. Guys,
he can't genuinely look for a new love until he truly gets over his fault. Frankly, what I view as a false love for Gypsy, and not even entirely his fault. He just, like I said, he created a character in his brain that's not who she really was, and he has not yet let go of that character. I really don't believe, and I'm saying that because I know exactly what it's like to be in those shoes. I can see myself in him, and it is an excruciatingly hard place to get out of. I still have to remind myself that was all fake, really. I mean, there were probably moments of real emotion for sure, but like really in totality, my past was a lie. And that's really, really hard to embrace when you've spent years living what you didn't even realize was a lie. So it's going to take him time for sure.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm very picky. I probably should be. That's one reason I fell in love with Gypsy, was she was unique. And, you know, she's
that's one way to put it.
And I like that. You know, but my heart is open. Yes, my heart is open to finding love. Yeah, my heart's open. Don't get me wrong. Like, picky's not a bad word. Like, I'm not picky. I just don't give my heart out to anybody. Let me just say that. I'm selective of who I give my heart out to. Okay, picky's not the right word.
That's good. It really confuses me how he landed on Gypsy, but whatever. But it's good to be selective. It's good to be to have standards and to not be willing to bend on those standards. And I think a lot of times, I mean, I'm sure for men this is true, but especially for women, I think women are more and more likely to bend on standards if they keep getting older and older and not meeting someone. It's like, well, if I stick with all of the standards that I've always had, I'm never going to meet anyone, clearly. So I guess I'll bend on this, and I guess I'll just stop believing in that and all these things. And it's even when it seems bleak and impossible, as long as you have wise people in your life who are kind of, what is this hair doing? Sorry. I don't know if I have ADHD, but I wouldn't be surprised if I did. As long as you have wise people in your life kind of guiding you and giving you instruction on who to look for and how to look for someone, and as long as you're having open conversations with those people and they're not saying, you know what, that's an impossible standard that you're holding to, as long as no one's giving you that feedback, then even if it seems impossible to find someone, it is not worth bending on your standards. Those are your standards. Now, I mean, if you come across something that makes you realize, okay, this is unfair, okay, yeah, then bend, change it, whatever. But generally speaking, if it's not unfair and it's just something that you hold very tightly to, it's better to not change that and then hope that you were able to meet someone, which, I mean, that sounds kind of bleak, but once you start bending on things, then you just lose your sense of self. Ask me how I know.
Picky's not the right word. I'm selective of who I want to give my heart out to. Hey, Ivy, how you doing? So that's what it is. I'm just very selective. I don't give my heart out to anybody. I think that I'm such a catch that, if I do give you my heart, you earned it. So
I gotta watch that again.
As a guy, you got to think that way. You got to be confident, and I am confident. That's what it is. I'm just very selective. I don't give my heart out to anybody. I think that I'm such a catch that, if I do give you my heart, you earned it. So
I was trying to see if there was some potential physical tells of insecurity in that. There was a pause, I think, and kind of like a breath in. Again, I think that he has created a false sense of confidence in himself. And I think he sees himself as, I'm very confident in who I am, and I'm very selective in who I want to be with. But I do believe behind that is a very scared little Ryan who desperately doesn't want to be hurt the way that he was hurt all those years ago. Yeah.
And as a guy, you got to think that way. You got to be confident, and I am confident. I feel like I am a catch, and
And if he does, then that's great. I mean, like, self-confidence, as I've said 5,000 times at this point, it needs to be rooted in humility. There's nothing wrong with, from a place of humility, saying, I believe that I would be a good spouse for someone. I believe XYZ traits of mine are good, helpful, awesome things that I can give to someone, and I hope that I'm able to do that. But there always has to be a recognition of, I will always have blind spots. I will always have things that I need to learn. And I am as confident as I am in who I am. I also recognize that there will never be a place in life where I've learned all the things that I need to be a truly healthy, wise individual. And so I'm open to that as well. And I accept that. Even if I don't know what that means, I fully accept and embrace that about myself. And also XYZ are weaknesses that I have that I'm working on. And I don't excuse those away. I don't minimize them. Those are things that I'm aware of and I'm working on them. That's what true self-confidence looks like. And if he has that, great. I don't believe it for a second because of all the other tells that he's had. But if he can get to a place where he really is like, I believe I'm a catch. I mean, not arrogant, not like I'm so much better than this individual. It's just, this is me and I'm confident in me. And I believe someone else would find this attractive. That's a great place to be. I hope he is. Don't think he is.
You're not a catch. Well, I disagree with you. I disagree because I have my stuff together.
And let me clarify, I'm not saying I don't think he's a catch. I do think he needs to work on his physical health quite a bit, but I'm not saying I don't think he's a catch. I don't think he actually truly thinks he's a catch deep down inside. Because it's that wall. It goes back to that wall metaphor where it's this huge wall that he thinks is confidence and he's labeled as confidence. And he's like, look at that. I am secure in myself. See that wall that I built all by myself? I am very secure. And it's like, no, actually you're terrified is what I think. I could be wrong. I could be wrong.
I have a job, I have a place. Like, I'm a good person. I love laughing. I believe I'm a catch. And if you don't see it, then that's your issue. Like I said, I wouldn't give you my heart anyway if you didn't want it. So there you go. That's called being selective. I just saw a quote said, will there be a season 2? Actually, guys, this one is considered season 2. Season 1 is before her release. This is technically season 2. So I was in season 1, season 2. I don't know about a season 3. They haven't contacted me about a season 3, but why would they? I'm not with the star anymore. So I don't know what's going on there. And, you know, I heard that Lifetime likes the show. So, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if they tried to approach her about doing it again. I don't know. Like I said, I haven't talked to her. So I don't know.
That would be so interesting if they did, because she would likely have her baby by then or within the time. I don't even know. And she's made it very clear, supposedly, she will not be putting her child out there in front of everyone. So if they approach her for another show, which I highly suspect she would say yes to because she loves the attention, how will that go? Very interesting.
No, but haven't approached me because I'm not with her anymore. Like, I'm not, like, I'm in the finale episode next week. I'm in that episode, but like, if you watch the episode, guys, it's basically they're writing me out, basically. You know, guys, I do have things to say on her announcement last week. I do have things to comment about it. I do have things to say, but I'm not going to say it on live. I have my thoughts. I have my ideas. I have my theories. You know, like, you know, I saw a rumor that said I was. This is funny. I actually got contacted by a TMZ person, and is it true you're looking up baby names on and posting baby names on Facebook? No, it's not true. My Facebook account is private, but I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. You know, so I was like,
I believe
the
that.
articles that people see, but if there's fake accounts and people do stuff like that.
There are people out there that really like Ryan, and I think he is kind of an epitome of someone who can be both very mature in some ways and very immature in other ways. And that was something that it took me far too long to realize. People can be both. Someone can, in XYZ parts of life, think very wisely, not rush into things, handle things with grace, whatever. And then in other XYZ parts of life, just act like a teenager. And it's just interesting how the brain can be so complex in that way. But I think that's kind of Ryan. I can see how he's being wise in not just saying horrible things, but probably to say on TikTok, and hopefully waiting for a better place and time to say things. I hope that maybe he gets legal advice on how to say things. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this plays out for him.
So, you know, Jerry Springer. I saw somebody said Maury Povich. You know, I laughed at that. I'm not going to get into whether, you know. Now, I just saw a comment that said she never loved you.
That stabbed him.
That one makes me think. Do I think she never loved me? No, I know she loved me. I know Gypsy loved me. You know, and I won't ever think different. So y'all can say what you want.
His everything just dropped in his face, and he may truly believe that she loved him, and in some ways, maybe for a time she kind of did. But from his visage, I feel like he is not even going to allow himself to consider the fact of what if it was all a lie. And again, from my own experience, it is very, very difficult to have to kind of face yourself in the mirror and say, you know what? It was a lie. It was all a lie. It wasn't real. And I believed in this thing. And in my case, I didn't marry, but I wanted to marry this thing and have this thing be part of my life for the rest of my life. And this thing never even existed. I mean, it gives me chills even now, just kind of thinking about that mindset. It's devastating. And you can see on his face, like, even the mention of, would you consider this having been a complete lie? Everything about him just falls. It's a lot. It's a lot to have to deal with.
I'm not going to show you my fridge. Like, that was a thing. I'm going to say this. The fridge video I did, I love seeing the comments are like, of course it's clean. We just saw her clean it. Guys, y'all know we filmed that like 3 months ago. Like, the fridge video was done in like June, and the documentary was filmed in January. So, like, you think I haven't used my refrigerator since January? People don't realize that. You know, look, that's Pixie's one of Pixie's spots. Pixie, I just saw that. Obviously, anybody who dates will be a fan. Not true. I know girls that I've known before the show started, so that's not necessarily true, whoever said that comment. Moms are brunettes. I love brunettes.
Shocking.
Like, I've always been attracted to brunettes. I don't know, like, I just like brunettes better. Now, I mean, there's nothing wrong with blondes.
I don't know what I am.
But I've dated a blonde girl and a brunette girl, and then, of course, Gypsy was brunette and became blonde. But I've had 3 serious relationships that lasted 3 years or more. Had 3. Almost married my second one. She had a kid, and you know, I was too young, though. I was like 22, and I was with her for almost 4 years, and, you know, the kid was like 2 or 3.
So I'm trying to understand the timeline. If Gypsy was his third, then he hasn't had a serious relationship since he was 20. I think he's about to say he might have been like 25, 26 when it ended. I mean, that's over 10 years of not having had a serious relationship. But so I was thinking about this too when I was lying in bed awake at 4 a.m. For people who are, I would say, beyond their early 20s, entering into and then exiting out of multi-year long relationships, to me, and I know this is not going to be a popular opinion, and there's people that I have in my life that I really love that would fall into this category. But generally, I feel like that is an indicator of not understanding one's own boundaries and also, honestly, not respecting the other person that they're with. And I say this even from my own experience because I didn't understand how much I was devaluing myself by letting myself get dragged along for that long and just holding out hope that something would happen where we could work it out and get married. But I also wasn't, in a way, respecting the other person in that because that just affected everything with how I handled everything. And I couldn't be my truest, most free self because I was just terrified all the time. And I mean, there was so much else that was going on in that, but it really is an effort to respect yourself and the other person where if you realize this is going on and on, we still don't feel any more confident in moving towards marriage. So we need to part ways because really, I believe, especially once you are past your early 20s, if you don't know whether you would like to marry someone within, I'd say about a year, maybe two max, that's an answer for you. You should be able to have the intentional time and intentional conversations consistently enough together whereby in a year's time, maybe two if necessary, you can figure out, am I willing to commit? Because there is no one wants to hear this, but there's nothing guaranteed in marriage. Like we can go into marriage convinced that this will be the most wonderful person of our entire lives. And I mean, I do believe my husband's going to be the most wonderful person of my life. But we can't know. Nothing is a guarantee. So there is always an element of saying, look, I don't have all the answers. You don't have all the answers, but I'm choosing to commit to you. There's nothing that I'm seeing that's a red flag that really worries me about you. There's nothing about you that is just, I know I would just be unable to put up with for the rest of my life. So I'm going to commit to the unknown that is the rest of our lives and commit to you. You know, there is a level of just choosing, okay, I am choosing to marry you. And I think when people enter into these years after years long relationships is because they're afraid to say, I'm done just kind of waiting and guessing. Here's my decision. Let's get married. I mean, it sounds very like unsexy, but in a way, that's kind of what has to happen. I mean, within obviously the realm of like, yes, I do love this person, and yes, I'd be excited to share my life with them, blah, blah, blah. But there really is a level of, all right, we're done with the guesswork. We're getting married. And yeah, it kind of worries me when I hear people being in multiple relationships like that. But if he was really young, that's a little different.
When I met her and, when we split up, he was like 7. So I've had 3 serious relationships. I love when people are like, oh, you could tell this is his first girlfriend. It's not. Guys, I will say this. Okay. I knew the risk. Okay. I knew the possibilities. I knew the risk. I knew what could happen. I know that she could leave me like she did and all. Like I knew the risk, but I also knew the reward. Okay, the reward outweighed the risk, and don't think I didn't have people on my side being like, "Man, what are you doing?" Like, "Hey, Haley, like, what are you doing? Like, this is risky." But I always said, like, it's better to love and lost than not loved at all, right?
No.
So that's what I went into it. Like, yeah.
If you love and lose through circumstances no one can control, such as an illness or an injury that results in death, then absolutely better to love that person than to never have loved at all because you couldn't have controlled that. But if you are entering into a dynamic with someone that numerous people that you respect in your own personal life are saying, hey, this worries us, then no, I don't agree that it's better to have loved and lost because really what you're more likely doing is creating more and more trauma that a healthy person would work through. Some people just don't ever even work through and just build trauma on top of trauma all throughout their lives and have no idea how much it's drastically affecting how they think, how they perceive things, how they react to things, how they process experiences. I mean, trauma changes you. So in his situation, I think he was just creating a traumatic environment for himself that hopefully he will seek professional help for. Ugh.
Yes, I ended up getting hurt, but I don't take that experience away. Like, I wouldn't do that. Like, so.
I
How
almost feel
old am
like, in a
I? I just
way,
turned 38.
and some people are like this. Some people are so terrified of being single, especially as they get older, that it's like, I'd rather just have a time of my life where I'm not single and I'm with a terrible person that eventually it'll end than just be single for all those years. And I wouldn't be surprised if he was one of those people.
Hey, getting old, getting old. It's funny. Oh, thank you for the Terra 6. Thank you for that. That was cool. I've never seen that gift before. Hey, Karina, thank you for the hand hearts. That's not old. I tell you what, when I'm shaved, I look a lot younger.
It's crazy how that happens.
Tell you, I didn't think I'd ever be able to pull this off, but only problem is I can't grow hair right there. That's not intentional, guys. I cannot grow hair right there.
Have you all ever seen the videos where dads will shave and make it, somehow they keep it secret from their baby that they're shaving, and so they like go up and greet their baby with their full beard, and then the next moment they greet their baby without any facial hair? It freaks the kids out. Like, yeah, it's crazy how much it changes people's appearance.
Do a poll on. No, I'm not doing a poll on who the baby dad. Nope, I'm not going there.
Good.
Team
Good.
Ryan, thank you for that. How did I propose? Y'all want to know how I proposed? It's kind of Gypsy kind of proposed first. That's real talk right there. Gypsy kind of proposed first, and then to make it officially, brought a ring in and asked her on the next visit because, you know, Gypsy kind of asked me, like, so why don't we just get married? Like, would you? And I was like, love you, of course I'll marry you. And then the next visit, I gave her a ring to do that.
So yeah, she knew that he was madly in love with her, and I believe that she is someone who works really hard to play her cards right, even though she's playing them all wrong, but playing them right in such a way that she gets the most benefit. I see her that way, so I'm not surprised to hear that she suggested marriage first, because I think, as a lot of people would believe, she probably had a whole domino lineup of, if we do this, then this will happen, this will be better for me, this will be easier for me, blah, 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 blah. Ken. Is truly how I see things.
Guys, I did that video about the book. I don't know if I've read the book. Like, that's my relationship. You know, like, I would have to, like, go in depth with our relationship. Now, I remember everything, but I have some stories to tell y'all. My God, I have some stories. Good God. I can tell you some crazy stuff. Yeah, stuff that's happened, like craziness. Yeah, guys, like
He definitely does get a sense of pride and a level of superiority of being like, I know the things that you don't know, and I could say things, and he probably knows Gypsy might see this video where he's like, hey, Gypsy, I've got some stories that I could, you know there's some stories I could tell people. I think he likes to, wherever he can, try to assert some level of dominance or confidence for himself within this disaster of a situation, he will. So even little comments like this.
I got some crazy stories about my relationship with my ex, like crazy stuff, from stuff in the visiting room and stuff over the phone and just craziness. But we were crazy by each other. So tell the stories. I will. I will. I'm a teacher. What do I do for a living? Come on, where you at? You know better. I'm a teacher.
Don't get offended.
Let's see. I will do a video explaining more about her pregnancy and my thoughts on that. I'm not gonna do it over this live. You should get on shows. Let me ask y'all that, Paul. How many of y'all think I deserve my own show? Would y'all watch it if Lifetime offered me a show, red or blue? Red.
And yet again, this is another effort to make himself feel better about himself, to feel validated, to feel liked, to feel appreciated, to feel watched, loved. Ryan, the internet is not the place to get this. These are not real. They're real people, and there are people who really like you, but the internet is not the place to find this.
Yes, blue is no. Would y'all watch it if somebody offered me a show? Which I don't think is gonna happen, but let's see. A lot of blues, a lot of haters.
They're not haters. That's what I mean, speaking of haters, I hate how quickly so many of these internet people see negativity and label it as hate. So much of it is not hate. I'm sure he probably gets legit hate, but it's like, maybe people just don't want to see you in a show. And yeah, that is going to hurt your ego, and yeah, that's going to be disappointing, but that's just life. You're a teacher. Go be a teacher. Don't be super offended that not everyone wants you to be on TV. Like, and plus these are internet people. Like, internet people are the most immature, absurd people there are. So, except for us, of course.
Because I read my messages on Instagram and TikTok. So if you write me a message on Instagram and TikTok, now I think my settings has it to where you only can write me once unless I accept you. So please don't send a sticker if you want me to read a message. So hey, there's a lot of blues. So I tell you what, if I get offered a show, the blues don't want me to do it. So
I didn't quite catch it.
I have a gambling problem? No.
The glitchiness is
Conspiracy
not on
team,
my
thank
end.
you for that. Do I like gamble on sports? Yeah, I do. Problem would be if you never won. And I never really lost that much. Like, don't get me wrong, dear, I do gamble more than I probably should, but I like it's legal in Louisiana, so it's just for fun. Now, say this, before Gypsy got out of prison, to be fat out, I did gamble a lot that season because it was like September, August to December, but I always used my money. Like, I never got in the hole where I had to, like, I never like had that big of an issue to where I only gamble money that like I could spend. Like I never didn't make my bills and nothing like that. Like I always was responsible with it.
I was curious about that, and that's good. I have mixed feelings about gambling in general because I kind of do, like with the jackpot, Mega Millions, whatever that is. The way I kind of view it is like, would it be awesome, of course, to have millions and millions of dollars just plopped in your lap? Yes. But realistically, there's, I would guess, probably not a ton of well-to-do people playing those things. I could be wrong, but my guess is a vast majority of that money that you're garnering in is likely from people that shouldn't be spending that money to begin with, that are hoping to just hit the jackpot, windfall, whatever you call it. So that's why I really don't like gambling in general, because I just kind of assume a lot of the money is coming from people that shouldn't be losing it anyway. But if you're going to gamble, then I do agree with the mindset of don't gamble any more than you can easily afford to lose.
So, it's not a problem unless you start really hurt yourself or others, and I never did that. So, Brian, be my husband for a laugh? Guys, I'm not going to give you my heart for a laugh. Like, come on. Do I live in Lake Charles? Yes, I live in Lake Charles. I still live in Lake Charles. I'm a graduate of McNeese State. That's where I got my degree. McNeese State. Represent. And the sad part is the cowboy. I hate that mascot. I hate the cowboy mascot, but I like this cowboy hat I just got.
Because it's money.
My zodiac sign, I am a Cancer. I am a Cancer. I'm very sensitive, and my home is my safe zone. My home is my safe spot. And I do like my home.
I feel that way about home as well. I don't do astrology at all, so I have no idea what I am, but I'm December, so y'all can let me know.
Cancer gang, that was cool. Like zodiac cancers, that's funny. What's my P.O. box? I might put my P.O. box. Well, I might put a P.O. box in my profile if y'all want to send me stuff. But I mean, that's, you don't have to send me stuff. Like, guys, I mean, if y'all want to do stuff, like donate to something. Like, that's cool too. Team Gypsy, that's great. I hope you are Team Gypsy.
I do like that he said that, and that just seems so opposite to Gypsy. Gypsy, who I assume it's accurate that she's got tons of money and created a baby registry, for heaven's sake, for all these strangers to get her things, versus Ryan, who probably does not or will not have nearly that amount of money, saying, if you want to get me stuff, how about you just find something else to actually donate to? I like that. I think that shows that he does have mature sides to himself. Yeah.
I want nobody to be, I would say, if you're Team Ryan, awesome. I love it. But just because you're Team Ryan doesn't mean I want you to be anti-Gypsy. That's not what I want at all. You can be Team Ryan and Team Gypsy. That's fine with me. I wish I could say more about certain situations. Like I said, I will do a video about it. Somebody just said go to 4 million. Y'all don't want me to get off live, huh? Let me see. A lot of people want me to still do it. Even the haters. Stay.
Thunder.
I mean, I don't know why y'all enjoy my lives. Like, y'all think I'm going to drop some information or something? I don't know.
Probably.
You, for the 4,000 people, want me to stay on live. Wow. Out of 18,000.
Most people don't.
Your house was so dirty on the last episode. Number one, Gypsy left on that Friday. My heart was broke. Okay? And it was dirty. The spare bedroom was dirty because we didn't live in it. So, yeah, the spare bedroom was dirty. And honestly, I didn't know she was coming over to get stuff. I mean, I didn't realize it'd be filmed. I didn't realize none of that. So, yes, the house was messy. But the house wasn't that dirty. I just saw that quote. That's the only reason I'm explaining it. Thank you for that gift. It's funny. I see these comments, and of course, you see the negative ones more than you see the positive, which is so stupid, which is crazy. That's the way it should. It shouldn't be that way.
It's true.
Kim Kardashian told me and Gypsy to post it, ghost it. Like, don't read the comments. So that's another tip. Once you post it.
That's probably a very wise advice, but it's coming from someone who has riled up a whole bunch of people. So it's like, if you're getting advice from someone who's kind of made a life of making a lot of people annoyed, might not be the best advice. But it is also true. in the least to not become absorbed and obsessed with people's comments on things. Like, I love reading the YouTube comments on my channel because it's such a young channel. I want to know, what do people think? Are people perceiving what I'm saying is coming from a thoughtful place? Do they perceive it as coming from a really snarky place and an ill-informed place? Like, I want to know that because I want to gauge how I'm presenting myself, and I love hearing tidbits of information, facts from people that I didn't know about, or resources to look into. But again, I'm not gauging my worth off of what people are saying. So
Get ghosted. So you try to go by that. TikTok gun, those are cool. Yeah, I saw that episode, the Kim Kardashian episode aired recently, and yeah, that was a fun trip. That was cool. Cuddle. Oh, I like to cuddle. That was my nickname. Cuddle.
Cuddle.
I always like to cuddle, guys.
Cuddle.
That's my favorite thing to do is cuddle. Kim Kardashian, pretty in person. Kim Kardashian was neat. Meeting Kim was an experience, guys. I will tell y'all that. Meeting Kim Kardashian, when they first told us that's who we were going to meet, it was like a surprise for Gypsy.
I think that's the only word he uses to describe her, and I actually respect that. I mean, who knows if he thinks she's actually pretty? I would assume he does. I think she's beautiful. Not entirely real looking, but beautiful. But I respect the fact that he's talking more about her character and the experience with her than her looks. And I think that's pretty cool, actually, given that her entire everything has been based off of how she looks.
And, of course, Gypsy was like, we gotta go. And I was like, of course we will. And we took a trip. That was in the episode where we went to the Degas house and we did the tour of the Degas house, and they talked about us being remarried there. That night is when we met Kim Kardashian. But it's crazy to talk about it. Like, we couldn't mention that we met her until the show aired. Like, they handle their business. Kardashians are on point when it comes to their business. They don't.
Oh,
I respect them as far as how they.
I'm sure they understand legalities and liabilities better than the vast majority of humanity, because they are a brand that they have no interest in disrupting. So, and this is a caffeine pill since I woke up at 4 in the morning.
They do their
yes,
business.
I do swallow my pill without liquid. How weird.
We couldn't take pictures, afraid of it being leaked, which is fine, understood. They handle their business. They know what's going on. They're amazing. We had to sign NDAs and all kind of stuff. And it's cool because they set us up at a nice, so nice hotel. It was a suite. It was, what was the name of that place? It's Four Seasons. Four Seasons in New Orleans, yeah. It was Four Seasons. And it's penthouse top. Like, it was a penthouse suite, but it wasn't, it's crazy how the room set up. You got the elevator and it was like a compass on the floor. And it was like north, south, east, and never east, spider west. So north, south, east, and west. And me and Gypsy's room was at the east.
Never eat soggy weenies. That's the phrase I will never forget.
The west part. So we'd walk all the way down the hall, and there's rooms there. But we went to our room, and then it's crazy. Like, they would give us updates. Like, Kim's on her way. She just got off her airplane, so just hang tight. And it's crazy because you had to sign all that paperwork and everything, and then they tell you Kim's here, and then she was in the west apartment. No, the east one. We were in the west, and finally it was.
She should have been in the west.
One of those things where you just walk all the way down the hall, and Gypsy was with her for a while, and then I got to meet her for like 10 minutes. She was nice. She's about Gypsy's height, a little taller than Gypsy, but she was so sweet. She was so nice. That was a fun trip. And later after that we went and met my friend Matt and his girlfriend we met them in New Orleans and had a good night. And that was a fun trip. But that was cool to meet her. She was different, like in a good way.
Ryan, I will say this loudly and proudly, even if I don't necessarily agree with the vast majority of what you say and do. I am so impressed and proud of you for not focusing on her appearance. I think that's awesome. So, I mean that from the bottom of my heart.
I saw a clout chaser. I'm not clout chasing anything. I'm from Lake Charles. Oh, and about the Kim Kardashian thing, I wasn't shell shocked over it until you get there. That's the mystique about them is. It was such an ordeal. You had to do this and do that. You had to sign paperwork, and then you wait, and then finally when you do, it's like a build up, and it was cool. It was neat. That was fun. You know what? I don't like being called a rebound. I don't believe it. I don't like when I see that comment because it wasn't a rebound. I know she said it, and I know, but
I really believe this is yet another instance of him staring at that wall that he's built up. I think he is telling himself, I am of such high value, which is good. I mean, we need to know our value, but I think he doesn't really understand what that really means. And I think he's like, I'm of such high value, there's no way I would have been a rebound. And Ryan, I think most of us believe that you were the rebound, and I'm really sorry.
I won't ever believe that. I won't ever believe that. I can't.
Can't.
So.
See, can't. Because it would crush his sense of self. And that would be crushing.
And back to the controlling thing, I just saw you were controlling. I was protective, but whatever. Y'all believe what you want. I know the truth. Hey, Paris.
And again, maybe that was your intent, and maybe editing didn't make you look so great. Who knows? But if you live life saying, nope, this is the reality that happened and y'all are wrong, you're never going to be able to learn. We have to go through life saying, hey, this is what I was intending. This is what I thought it was coming off as. But if you and you and you and you and you and you and you read it to mean something completely different, well, let me take some time to consider this, because maybe I'm wrong, just maybe. I mean, I'm not saying he's 100% wrong, but if he goes through life not being willing to consider that unless and until it's like shoved in front of his face, it's going to be almost impossible to grow. Again, ask me how I know.
Canada here. I've always wanted to go to Canada. Oh, Canada would be awesome to go to. I've always wanted to go to Montreal and Toronto. In fact, I have a Toronto Raptors jersey that I'll be wearing soon.
And to clarify, in that instance, when I said ask me how I know, it's because I did it all wrong. I've learned everything that I do right now because I did it wrong in the past. Did it wrong in the past.
Jersey, by the way. I just got this Spurs jersey and I like it. But I have a Raptors jersey, and let's see, so I have like a couple new jerseys that I just got. So y'all be seeing them. And I wear jerseys because on the show, guys, I couldn't wear jerseys, and I wear jerseys all the time. Like, it's just, I like wearing jerseys. And it's one of those where, you know, in the show, they couldn't copyright it, so they wouldn't let us wear them. You know, and it sucked because Gypsy bought matching Saints jerseys, like, had our anniversary number on it, and Jose Anderson, and like, we wanted to wear them on the show, and they wouldn't let us. And that was a bummer. That was a bummer. Hey, Juju.
So I'm sure him seeing her with her matching bracelets with Ken is just yet again more salt in the wound.
Hey, Winnie. Hey, Evelyn. I love how now I'm saying, like, can you say this? Can you say hey to this? Hey, Sarah. Hey, Ryan. Getting more tattoos. That's a good question. I would be up to getting more tattoos. Like, I would be up for it. I need to cover one on this arm. Maybe not cover it, but it was a homemade tat on this arm. I'll show you. I was not in a good place mentally when I got this one. It's a buddy did that at the house. It's a date. It's a date that's special to me. I'm not going to explain because it's very private. Hey, Chloe. And then I got the rose right there. And it's kind of funny. Like, people are like, I covered your tattoo. I'm like, well, I'm going to cover the date one up for sure. But I probably won't ever cover the rose up. Like I said, I've said that before. Like, I might paint it, you know, turn the rose black. But I don't have that negative opinion of Gypsy. That's why I don't say anything bad about her. I shouted out, didn't say. I was at 4 million, guys.
It'll be interesting to see as time goes on if he still feels that way. It may never change. He may forever go through the rest of his life having a relatively positive view of her.
Good, I see that. Hey, Norma. Do the apple dance? I don't know what the apple dance is.
I don't either.
I thought about doing...
Entertaining.
Like, I thought about doing one of those, the Panini Press deal, but I was like, nah, I'm not going to do that. That's kind of silly. Guys, what y'all think of me crying in the episode? Did it touch y'all's heart? Let me do a quick poll. Did you feel it, Ryan? Like, did you feel... All right, red, yes, you felt it. Blue, no. Like, when I was crying in the episode, did your heart go out to me? Red, yes, blue, no.
Come on. How much validation can you possibly ask for? Gosh.
I'm from Wales. That's cool. My heart broke for you. Thank you, Shana Cole.
He wants the validation because he's so sad that Gypsy hurt him so badly.
Yeah, it was. The clip of it, I was like, God, I cried that much. 4 million likes. It was so sad.
It would be re-traumatizing to see that.
Well, it's not. There's a lot of blues. Some people didn't feel upset for me.
I'm sure he does not like seeing all that blue.
Yeah. Nobody felt for me. The Reds, thank y'all.
Maybe, Ryan, this means you just need to not do the internet.
Yeah, guys, the one where I was wearing the red shirt, that was like 2 weeks after we split. And David is the producer, and I love David to death. Like, David, hey, David, if you're out there, miss you, brother. I cried on live thinking about David one time, so I'm not going to do that, though. But David was a great guy, and he could bring out that emotion because his facial expression, like, you could tell he was really invested in what you were. Hey, Shorty Chew, no, you like do bad video. You like right in the heading. No, I'm not saying hey to you. No. I can't believe I just gave you a shout out. Nah, no hate.
Just
That
kidding.
he could get that reaction out of me, and because he felt for me, you know, it's like he was a master at like showing empathy, and it made me cry more. And
Oh no.
yeah, I cried.
He
He
knew what
was
he was
there
doing.
when I cried with the blue shirt after the car scene, and in my apartment with the red shirt. He was there, so he got that emotion out of me because like it felt. I mean, like he could just pull it.
It's interesting. Very
But
interesting.
I'm at 4 million likes, guys. I'm about done. I've been on here an hour and a half. I didn't expect to be on here this long. I just talked for a little while. Like I said, I'll do a video about my thoughts about the announcement she made last week. You know, I don't have anything negative to say right now. You know, I haven't talked to her, so it is what it is. But I'll explain more. I see more questions and say, hey, Amy, how you doing? Guys, thank y'all for hanging out with me for an hour and a half. I really appreciate it. Y'all for being Team Ryan. I don't know when my next live will be. You know, like last live I had one and I said I don't know if I'll be back. That's because I know it was about to get sad for me, but here's what it is. Hi, Alyssa. You know, I just thought I misunderstood what I said. Anyway, hey, guys, thank y'all for the support.
Okay, that's the end. And I am also very tired of talking. I'm sure you're tired of hearing me talk, but thanks for joining. Hopefully that gives some interesting insight into Ryan, and it'll be really fascinating to see how this all wraps up. So thanks for being with me. All right, bye.